You've seen our next guest's work here on TYT. We're running pieces of her documentary in some of the breaks. Rachel Lierz is a great documentarian, has done some really powerful documentaries in the past. And in fact, she did a documentary called The Hand That Feeds that was a dramatic story about undocumented immigrant workers organizing at a deli in New York City, and it was really widely acclaimed. So Rachel joins us now. She'll talk about her latest work, and that's the one I'm talking about that you've seen running in the breaks here at TYT. Rachel, welcome to Rebel Headquarters.
Hi, Mark. Thanks so much for having me on the show.
So Rachel, tell everybody about Knock Down the House and how it focuses on a very important group of people.
Yeah, so Knock Down the House follows 4 insurgent congressional campaigns around the country for Justice Democrats candidates that your viewers might be familiar with. None of them has any experience holding political office, but they've all experienced deep personal stories of injustice that are really driving them to confront political machines in 4 different parts of the country.
Yeah, can you share with us some of those stories? Because they really are compelling. I mean, these people have been pressed into politics by being touched personally by different events.
Yeah, absolutely. So in New York, I'm based in New York, and here we have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is, she comes from a background of education and nonprofits and actually has degrees in economics and international relations. But since the financial crisis, she had been working in restaurants to make ends meet to help save her family's home from foreclosure. So she really knows on a firsthand level just the struggles that so many Americans go through on a day-to-day basis to keep their families in good shape. In Nevada, we have Amy Villela, who lost her daughter, her adult daughter, 2 years ago because she went to the hospital, to the ER, with an undiagnosed blood clot and was actually refused treatment because she didn't have insurance at the time.
And it was a preventable medical condition. In other words, she could have easily been treated and been fine and been live today.
Absolutely. It is just one of the most horrendous stories that you can imagine. It is a completely preventable medical condition that could have been diagnosed. So Amy became, she took her grief and learned how to turn it into a drive for positive change. And she became an activist for Medicare for All. And when she found out that her congressman, Reuben Kihuen, would not support Medicare for All, she decided to run a primary against him. And then this past December, he actually stepped down from the race due to allegations of sexual harassment. So her seat is actually an open primary. And then, so the third candidate we're following is Paula Jean Swearengin in West Virginia, who
is coal country.
Yes, indeed.
And she has personal experience with coal.
Yes, she does. She's lost numerous family members and neighbors and friends to illnesses caused by pollution in the coal and fossil fuel industries. And she really wants to stress the false choice between jobs and the environment and health and safety. She really believes that West Virginians deserve all of the above. So she's fighting that fight in West Virginia. And we also have Cory Bush, a frontline Ferguson activist from St. Louis, who is a nurse and a pastor and a mother as well. And she rounds out the mini slate that we're following for the film.
Yeah, and she responded to the Michael Brown shooting as protests came into her neighborhood. And again, these people all sort of have firsthand experience with these different issues. I want to go back to Paula Jean. I know Jenks talked about Paula Jean on the show before. This is the coal miner's daughter who's so active in coal country. Well, you follow all of these people, so we get a chance to see them interact with the voters. What is the reaction in coal country to someone who is sharing a personal story that isn't too flattering to the coal industry?
Well, I think it's complicated, and Paula Jean certainly has a ton of experience talking to people all over the state. She's been traveling West Virginia tirelessly for almost a year now, talking to people from across the political spectrum. And I know that she finds that a lot of folks are receptive, not just to her message about the coal industry in particular, but really, what she's fighting for a range of policies that would benefit working people to a great degree. So she is also fighting for Medicare for all. She came out in support of the West Virginia teachers strike a number of weeks ago and was the only candidate to spend significant time on the picket line with the teachers. So I know that a lot of them were very excited to see her there. And I think that it's, she has to continue taking this message around the state and really building up a grassroots campaign to win there, just like each of the candidates do. These are people-powered campaigns, and it's really going to depend on the ground organizing work.
These are truly working class messages. They're authentic messages. They're not, I care about the middle class, and then the guy hops into some SUV and then drives back to his multi-million-dollar home, and that's it. These are real working class people that you feature in your documentary. Now, tell me about the documentary filmmaking process, because you have to follow these candidates, and it's really an interesting follow on one level, but it's also time-consuming, and I'm sure it consumes a lot of money. How are you funded, and is it a grassroots effort to keep funding it, and where does the project stand? Fill us in on that.
Thanks. Well, we are actually, like the campaigns that we're following, this is a people-powered production. We've been crowdfunding on Kickstarter for the month of March. We actually have about 24 hours left in the campaign. So that ends tomorrow night, Friday night at 8 p.m. We've got a matching fund in effect. And so this is folks' last chance to pre-order the film and get a lot of other special rewards that are connected to the story and the topics.
Okay, so stop right there. So to do that, people can do what?
Yes, so you go to knockdownthehouse.com, and that will redirect you to our Kickstarter page. You can find all the information there.
Cool. Didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to make sure we have the URL up there. Yeah, knockdownthehouse.com. So that's where you can get all the information, both on the movie and on how to support the movie. So go ahead, Absolutely. Rachel. Sorry.
Yes, thank you so much for the opportunity to share that. So the filmmaking process, it's the biggest challenge to this project is the fact that it's taking place simultaneously in several locations around the country. So we're in the process of expanding our team with additional collaborators to help cover the story when our team can't be there. We are going to be spending several weeks in advance of each primary in each of the locations, and I'm in touch frequently with all of the campaigns, just keeping track of what's going on. But we are independent documentary filmmakers. That means that our funding comes through a variety of sources, through crowdfunding, through grants. In this case, we're focusing on the crowdfunding and individual donors right now. The typical film industry forms of support, such as grants and investment in television co-productions, do take a long time to come into fruition. So we're in the process of working on those, and meanwhile, we've just got to cover the story.
Well, your last film, The Hand That Feeds, I mentioned it before we met you. It was picked up by PBS, I think. Didn't they showed it on public television, I believe, right? So.
Correct. So we were part of a series on PBS's affiliated World Channel called America Reframed, which is a series featuring independent documentaries on a variety of topics focusing on the United States. And we were lucky enough to be nominated for an Emmy last year for that production.
That's terrific. Look, can't recommend it enough. Knockdownthehouse.com. When I say I can't recommend it enough, I mean, what I've seen looks compelling, interesting, and important. And all those things mean that we should support you. So knockdownthehouse.com. Thank you, Rachel Lierz. I could talk to you, and I have a bunch more questions. Until the next time, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much as well. It's great to talk to you.